Hi guys, how's it going? Today we're going to go over structuring an off-season programme for American football training. So in this example we're going to be using a wide receiver who is doing sport training, so American football training once per week. They're going to be in the gym 3 or 4 times a week and they're going to have one sprint session. So the first concept I want to go over is having high and low days. So the high days are going to be days where you're doing quite a lot in the gym, usually some lower body stuff, things like sprints, plyometrics, and sport training. So those are going to take up your high days. Then these kind of medium and low days, that's going to be more things like upper body, easier cardio sessions, things that you're still training, but it's not necessarily too taxing. You're not going to wake up the next day thinking, Jesus, I'm bloated. So as you can see with these high and low days is we've got this kind of 48-hour period between those days. So you're giving yourself enough time to recover between sessions. You don't want to have them back to back in that way that, you know, you're doing your big session on the Saturday. So just in this example, we're going to have the sports session on the Sunday. You want to be as fresh for that as you can, so you don't want to be going into that tired, and what would cause that is to have too big a session on the Saturday. So as you can see, we've spaced that out. We've got the high intensity sessions on the Wednesday and the Friday along with the Sunday, and then those are kind of split up by these medium and low day sessions in between. So the qualities that we really want to be training are, and this is the same for most sports, if not every sport, is speed, power, strength and endurance. And basically how we're going to do that is, for speed we're going to be looking at using sprints and plyometrics. For power you're going to be using plyometrics and explosive lifts, so things like Olympic lifts, loaded jumps, that type of thing. Then for strength you're going to be looking at using your kind of heavy basic movement patterns, so things like bench press, squats, deadlifts, just things that are going to really challenge your entire body, or at least multiple muscle groups, to get stronger and get bigger. And then endurance, so you'd kind of start out with this long form of endurance, things like, you know, just cycling for 20, 30, 40 minutes. And then as you get closer to the season starting, you want to be using more kind of short burst stuff that's more specific to football. So obviously in football you don't really play, you definitely don't play for 30, 40 minutes back to back. You're talking about anywhere between 1 second and maybe 15-second drives, or plays, within a drive. And you might have those back to back for, say, 7 minutes. So you can do things that are a bit more specific to football, like I said. So maybe for 7 minutes doing 15 seconds on, 20 seconds rest, 15 seconds on, 20 seconds rest, and making those 15 seconds on really hard. Then breaking down the training days. On Monday, and this isn't like cast iron. This isn't exactly how you have to do it. You can switch these things around, which I'll go over in a little second. But for this example, we'll say Monday we're going to have upper and cardio, and that is just because we had either a full body or a max speed day on the Sunday, and we had sports training. So an upper and a cardio on the Monday. Tuesday we're going to take off. Wednesday, that's going to be another high day, so we've got plyos, acceleration and lower body. Then Thursday we're going to go with upper and optional plyos, so that just depends on how your legs feel and how you feel overall from the day before. And the upper body stuff is obviously just to give your legs a little bit of a rest. Then Friday we can have a max speed day, but we could also swap this with the full body day. So say you don't really want to train, you don't want to go to the gym after your football session, what you can do is have the max speed session before the training session and then have the full body on the Friday, so you could do that either way. Saturday you could either do maybe another upper body session, just a small pump, or like a short cardio session, or you could take it off again, just depending on how you're feeling. And then, as I said, on that Sunday you're either going to have max speed or full body, and your sport training session. So that's really everything I wanted to go over, guys, in terms of structuring a training week for American football. Now, I do have a programme that caters for this, so if you're struggling to do this for yourself, I do have the off-season performance programme. I'll put the link in the description. That's a 6-week training programme that you can use during your off-season to improve all these things, so your speed, your power, your strength, your endurance, everything that you need to be a great football player. So, as I said, guys, any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. Follow me on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube. And yeah, have a nice day, guys. Cheers.